Hello, my lovely subscribers. Kisses to all of you. I hope that you're having a wonderful Monday. I am. And Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, she's in trouble. I want to thank you guys for my 3,000. I'm looking over to my left, and my daughter has done something. I'm going to have to clean it up. Thank you so much for my 3,000 subscribers. I feel so lucky that 3,000 people care to hear what I have to say. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the comments, the likes, and sharing, and helping me meet that milestone. It's almost like I had one conversation with you guys to try to reach 3,000. And the next thing you know, you guys made it happen. So thank you. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So I was listening to this segment about Meghan, and Lady C was discussing it. And so I overheard her say that Harry did not know that they were going to be sneaking names in the book. And so that's what, according to Lady C, either WME didn't know or Harry. But for some reason, I believe Harry didn't know. I believe that Meghan is doing conniving, sneaking things behind his back. I just remember him trying to get closer to his family and trying to reconcile. But on the flip side of that, Meghan doesn't want Harry to have a relationship with his family, because if he does, then she feels like she's losing control. If Harry reconnects with his family and start mending the relationships, Meghan would be upset because she is the one that drove the wedge between them, and she wants to remind the world why the wedge is there. And it's the racists. It was nothing else in that. All the other stuff was just, little salad food. The curtsy and, all the other stuff that she blamed on him and all that. All that stuff is just really watered down until you get to the racism. I told you that was going to be the end of Meghan. And I still say that. And I never thought that she would resurrect it from the dead. But what I find to be very interesting is that Meghan, and this could not be true, allegedly, Harry did not know anything about the books, the names being in the book. I'll get to that in a minute. But I do want to talk about the fact that if that is the case, why would Meghan keep such an important, something important as naming the two royals? Why would she keep that from him? He should know it's his family that she's going to be accusing. And so word on the street is, according to Lady C, and I'll let her say it, is that Harry was not aware that this was going down, and he's furious. Well, Harry, you should have thought about that before you married the Jezebel, because since she's been with you, she's been trying to destroy the relationship that you have with your family. My dog could tell you that. Why do you think she pulled you over here? So that she could have control. She's isolated him and alienated him from his family and wants to keep the drama going because she doesn't want Harry to have a relationship with his brother or his father, because that would mean they would realize that, Meghan is a fraud. And the reason why I say that is that if he continues to have a relationship with William or Charles, this is Harry, then William and Charles could somewhat try to convince him that he is in a cult-like situation and he needs to run like hell. He's in one of those, what you would call a bad relationship, and would nobody be upset if he left. I mean, that's the honest truth. It's almost like Kanye and Kim. Kim was in a bad situation, and I was telling her to myself, listen, I know you had that 72-day wedding with that other gentleman, but trust me, I understand if you need to leave Kanye. He is not, there's something wrong there. He wants to control his women, and he was trying to control Kim, but Kim said, no, I got places to go and people to see and places to be. And I don't think that Kanye boosted her reputation. She was already on the upswing. And so, if anything, she helped his popularity. moving back to the subject at hand. Now, in this case, Harry, I would have to say run as fast as you can. When you finally realize that you have someone that's deceitful, not just to your family, but to you, because she owed it to you to tell you what she was about to do to continue to sabotage your relationship with your family. Why would she continue this circus of a racism claim, knowing what we know about it? But not just that. For the fact that she won't even allow her husband and his family's relationship to get on a track of forgiveness and trying to build a relationship. As long as Meghan is in the picture, there will be no reconciliation. She is not about family and forgiveness and coming together and making things work. Meghan is about division, dividing, manipulating. She's about herself and rising herself up to the top. And if you don't get with the program, she's going to do it behind the scenes. And so sorry, Harry, you was not privileged to the information that her and Obi Scobie had planned to put the two names in the book and then pretend like they know nothing about it. We didn't know nothing about it. Then he went into denial mode and said he never put the names in the book, which he had to in order for the publishers to get it. Because if I was the publisher, the translator, whoever was en route with this book, I would definitely come out and say, no, this is the passage that he's given us. And so this is what we're presenting to you. And so after he went on his crusade of lying and took no accountability for the mistake, and then going to say that he doesn't feel sorry because he's trying to get to the bottom of it too. He's also trying to get to the bottom of the racism as if it is any of his business whatsoever what goes on in that household. No. Whatever Omid Scobie, whatever Meghan told you, that's as far as you're going to get. But you're not going to get the truth. You're going to get some cockamamie story, but you don't care anyway because it's all about your little book. He's all upset because his book is this and his book is that. It might do better than it should. That's for sure. Let's go back. Let's go back to Harry not being happy about the names being in the book. That's your fault, Harry. That's your fault. Now you can that ain't Meghan's fault because you know by now that you done married somebody from some other planet. You know you married somebody that is conniving, that is manipulative, that is not nice, that is about division, strife, and she is not about bringing people together like they're lying during those during those charity events that she wants to pretend that she's some humanitarian and love the world. No, she's there for a photo op. Harry, it's your fault. You should know better. You should already expect little things like this to happen all the time. Why would you be surprised and why would you be shocked and why would you be disappointed in your wife for doing something that she's been doing for the last 4 or 5 years? Like this is something new. No, oh, is it because you're trying to connect with your family and she's pretending and trying to psych you out to believe that she's all for you, mending it by, saying something to your father on his birthday and maybe being invited to Christmas? No, Meghan, it's not about harmony and about forgiveness and about coming together as a family. Meghan is about rising to the top. And if that means disparaging and defaming and trashing your family, Harry, then so be it. What's my take on that? So let's get to Lady C and what's going on. I agree with you guys on Kinsley. I'm going to, try to refrain from using her videos as much because they are, to me, she'll say one thing and then it's another. The other day I did a deep dive on how she was so upset and wanted the titles taken. It's time to take the titles. It's time for them to speak out. Now all of a sudden, I guess somebody knocked on her door and told her da 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 da, and now she backtracking. talking about, well, maybe like one of my subscribers said I should read it. Let me read what she said. Okay, I lost it and I forgot it, what I was saying, because I was looking too deep. Sorry about that. So I can't even give you that explanation. Let's get started on the video though, okay? You can feel the disappointment, the anger. You know, people are calling for her titles. And I heard through the body language guy that WME is upset. He's upset about the book and how they are attacking the royal family. Well, this is what else I was going to say about Harry not knowing that those names were in the book. Harry, but you knew all that other trash was in the book. You knew Meghan was going to go after Catherine and your brother and the rest of your family again, as if you didn't know. Were you trying to make amends with your father before the book came out so it wouldn't look like it would be that bad? Or that you're trying to reconcile after you guys keep trashing your traitors? You're traitors. You're betrayal traitors. Okay? And you're the biggest traitor, Harry, like my Amy said, traitor and the tramp. You allowed her, you gave her permission to do this. And that's what makes you more despicable than she. Because you had the option to stop it. And you just keep letting it go on and on and on and on, like you don't care. Like you're just sitting back watching the show yourself. The Meghan Show. The Meghan Show. If I could sing, let me tell you something. That would be the first thing I would do. Sing, and then I would give y'all all of this. Whatever that is. Okay, let's get started. Here we go.
There is MP Bob Seeley.
Serving Tory MP will join me shortly on the return of Nigel Farage potentially to the Conservatives and even potentially sticking him in the House of Lords. A serving Tory MP on record saying that. What does that mean for that party? But as the controversy over the naming of the so-called royal racists in the Dutch translation of Omid Scobie's book Endgame rumbles on, Harry and Meghan's silence has been deafening. But, this is the Today line. Everyone's been banging on about that for the last week or so, and I'm sick of it. But Tory MP Bob Seeley has taken matters into his own hands by seeking a law change to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. An enraged Seeley said they should not keep the titles and privileges if they trash an institution that plays an important part in our nation's life. Sources close to the Sussexes have stressed that Harry and Meghan are not behind claims made in Scobie's book, but I suspect...
So, sources, people in Meghan's camp, they're not behind the book. Well, then she's going to have to come out and prove it. She will have to come out and prove it. She's going to have to make a statement. She's going to have to go after the book, talk about how she had nothing to do with it, number one, how she is appalled by what was said. She was not in cahoots with putting those names in the book, since she would be the only one that would have access to those stupid letters and access to giving OB the information. And so that's what people are waiting on. And this gentleman, I can't wait. I'm like waiting. I'm like in my seat, like, okay, what's going to happen? And most of you are like, oh, we'll see what happens. We'll see it taken away. And what is interesting, the last video I did with Kinsley and the rest of them, you know, not quite really wanting to take her titles away from her, and it would make a difference. Even on Piers Morgan, they were talking about taking her titles. It's everywhere. And I think it will set, even if she continues to make money off of whatever, it doesn't matter. The reasoning behind taking the titles, number one, is what this gentleman said, that it affects what they do, and the trashing continues. What they do is affecting the monarchy, and it's affecting the British people. And so therefore, that reason alone, Meghan needs to be stripped of her titles. And they need a gag order. I would definitely request one of those. But it's not to punish her, but it is to let her know that while she's running around out here playing games and throwing people's names out there and lying on the princess, the future queen of England, that she's a racist. It's the most despicable thing that Meghan can do. It is the most despicable thing that she's ever done. And I wonder what Elizabeth would think right now. I'm sure she would not be still talking about never complain, never explain. It's time to act. It is. Because it'll start affecting your home. Like one of my subscribers said, what about the kids? What about little George and Charlotte and Louis growing up, listening to them being trashed, their own relatives trashing them, because they will hear about it and they will see about it. And so I go back to this. Meghan does things without thinking how it would affect those that she attack. She doesn't care. It doesn't matter because she's focused on what's best for her. I know that sounds very shallow, and who am I to judge her to say that? I'm judging her based on what I see, what I've noticed. Because I know I wouldn't be out here talking again about how my family is racist after I supposedly had a conversation with King Charles to rectify the information situation. First of all, I would have had the conversation before we got married. But Meghan was she was trying her best to get in there before she started any ruckus. Now that she's in there, she done lit the flame on the fire. And do we sit back and continue to just, oh, it's okay, let's move on, sweep it under the rug. It's no big deal. They're racist. Who cares? They're all racist. No, when you say someone is racist, that is a full-blown on attack. That requires a response. Not the stupid response that Kinsley mentioned about how the royals need to get together and do something for charity around unconscious bias and stupid stuff like that. Admitting guilt. Be careful.
A few people believe such denials. Essentially, this is invoking quite an old law that could biff them of their titles. I'm joined now by my royal mastermind.
No, it's time to take her titles. She's not going to let you take them. She's going to fight for him. She's going to whine and cry and be like, what's going on? Then she's going to get on the Oprah show and start talking about, they took him. They took him because in the book, this happened. No, they took him because you're a threat, honey. You are a problem to the monarchy. And when you become a problem, you need to fix that problem. And if taking her titles is a way of getting her to stop bashing them, then that's a start, right? It's not being mean. None of us can understand why she's using it anyway. She keeps talking about the racism and how racist they are. But then when you walk up on her, she wants you to bow to her and call her the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. No, you don't want that racist name, girl. Get it back. Give it back. Just like when they came out with that speech talking about they were going to be making money on their own and doing their own. No, you're making the money off the back of that race bait thing you got going on. Striking a debate again. No, when you keep crying wolf, then that last wolf, people are not going to come. They're going to be like, nope, she's crying wolf. I'm not calling over there checking on her. Ain't nothing wrong with her. She over there crying wolf. She over there jealous of Catherine, lying on her in the public's eye. I don't want to be a part of that because that's that stupid stuff. She's trying to tear down history, tear down something that their country is built on. Meghan has declared war. This is big. I know, because I'm talking about it a lot. Come on.
Lady Colin Campbell.
But I'm almost done.
Phil Dampier, thank you very much. Lady C, this is an interesting development in this story. Should MPs now step in and take the Duke and Duchess down a peg?
Yes.
Literally.
Well, I think someone has to. I was actually approached nearly 2 years ago by one of the former private secretaries and asked to start a petition to get Parliament to strip them of their titles. And I said I wasn't going to do it because I thought it was a dangerous precedent to set. And there is a dangerous precedent involved with this. But the fact of the matter is,
It's very dangerous. I just said it, so I need to repeat it.
The amendment is tabled under what is really a traitor's amendment, and there is a feeling that Harry.
Meghan, how does it feel to be kicked out of the royal fold as a traitor? As a traitor. The MP is processing a bill to strip the Sussexes of their titles. That's big. That's big. And what it's showing us is that Charles won't do it. And I get it. That's his son. But at some point, someone asked me, would you do it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I would do it. I would do it because I wouldn't do it for me. I would do it because of Catherine. I would do it because of William. Because there's no need for someone to be treated this way. And I can stop it. I can prevent this from happening. And so I need to dig deep into my arsenal and find out what I need to stop them from continually to trash on our future queen and king. That is his responsibility to protect them as well. And they are being shot at by Meghan with this racism crap, with this trash fest. I told you a long time ago that Meghan has a motive. She's trying to keep Harry away from his family because as long as she can keep them apart, she can control what he allows her to do. But now someone else is stepping in because they see that her behavior can make a major mess up big time. Okay? So he's coming in to stop the torment, the trashing, the nastiness of it all. Because it needs to stop. And as long as she continues to have Harry over here in his spell-like way, someone else is going to have to knock on the door and sit it down. And it's not she's in her feelings. Stop that. She's a millionaire married to a prince over there acting silly. Silly willy. Silly willy, silly willy, silly willy. Silly willy. Yeah. A millionaire. She ain't got to work. She can just look straight ahead, take care of the kids, and be nice to everybody like Catherine. No. She's the opposite. But she wanted us to remind us in the book how horrible Catherine was, and Harry let her do it. But he wasn't okay with her putting the names in it. It's all relative. It's all the same, Harry. You shouldn't have let her did it in the first place. Stop doing stupid stuff.
And Meghan have betrayed the interests of the monarchy.
They have betrayed the interests of the monarchy. In other words, that BS that they put on their page talking about they were going to support the Commonwealth, that stuff Meghan was talking about how she was going to come over there hitting the ground running and helping the queen do all of this. Use me like you want. Use me in any way that you need and want to. I was there for this. No, you were there for you. And like Lady C has said, you are a threat. You are a threat. She is. And those people like Tessa and her army of people that continue to believe that this is nothing and this can be just rectified with a phone call. And now all Charles has to do is just reach out. No, she has declared war for the last time and someone needs to do something about it before she just tears it all the way down. Because it's only so much us little ones can do to defend it. Because if she keeps saying it, people will believe the narrative. If you say it enough, people will start to believe it. Oh yeah, that's the family that was mistreating Meghan. That was racism. And Chris Rock has already came out and said something. All these people that have come out in support of the king and queen is trying to tell Meghan something. Don't mess with the monarchy. The worst thing that she could have ever done is to say this family was racist when she know that they didn't treat her any other way but with kindness and compassion. And I would love to see sued. I would love to see some accountability. I would love to see something. I would get on a jet, fly myself down here, sit Harry down and say, listen, this is exactly what's going to happen to you and Meghan if you don't stop. I'm taking the titles. I'm stripping your HRHs. It's over. That's all. And if it was Kira, I would do the same. Probably would have did it a lot earlier. We wouldn't be at the 5th attack. Oprah, the docuseries, Spare, Netflix is the same thing. And then the therapy session. And then Obit Scobie's book. I could be missing some.
And the country and the Commonwealth. And
the country and the Commonwealth. Let me let her say it.
There is a feeling that Harry and Meghan have betrayed the interests of the monarchy and the country and the Commonwealth. And I think, if the family doesn't do something, there's no good reason why Parliament doesn't do something. And so I actually basically am in favor of it. I think this, amid scabies nonsense, has been
listen, she got away with it all the other times. She got away with it all the other times, all the other insinuations and so on and so on. And now, what if she gets away with this one? What's to say that she won't continue? Yes, what's to say that Meghan won't, okay, they didn't do nothing then. They didn't come out and say nothing then. So let's continue the attack. What's next? What's next on the list, Harry?
Final straw, because there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, and I don't think there's any doubt in anybody with a brain, that Meghan is behind it. I also understand, in fact, that she wrongfooted Harry, that Harry didn't realize that any of this was coming, and that there's all...
That's that stupid stuff. You didn't realize what, and that's why all that in the beginning, what I said, that's what I heard, ladies. He said he didn't know all this was coming. How do you not know? You knew something was coming in that book. You didn't know the racism probably was in the book, but you knew something was going on, Harry. And so if you approve that, why not go on with the go-on? So don't give me that. You have been guilty in this whole debacle. And you keep telling us that you don't care about your father, you don't care about your brother, and you don't care about Catherine anymore. You have chosen your side. And you have allowed her to take whatever you told her and spin it. Oh, but she wants to let us know through sources, not through a statement, through sources. She had nothing to do with it. Okay. And she didn't mean for it to come out this way, but she meant for us to find out.
Hell to be paid at the moment in Montecito, but that's another matter altogether.
Well, I will be returning to that, Lady C.
I might have to go pay Lady C a visit and see what she's talking about over there on that channel.
You can imagine. No doubt Meghan Markle, in fact there is no doubt, because she does deny having anything to do with this, as did Harry. But I'll bring you in now, Phil. Do you think that MPs should step in and try to strip them of their titles, or is this just a bit pathetic?
Yeah, good evening, Patrick. Traitors, send them to the tower. That's what we should do. Listen, I think a lot of people will sympathise with Bob Seeley. A lot of people think they should be stripped of their titles, they should be removed from the website, and all sorts of other things.
Removed from the website. Listen, Meghan, you're already in others. Now they're about to just take you smooth off, and your children. What now? What legacy are you leaving your kids? You managed to marry a prince. She managed to marry a prince. Check this out. A woman's dream to marry a prince. Okay? A dream. And she managed to jack that up for her own personal ambition, her own personal gain. What's best for Meghan? Not her kids, and not her husband. And everything else is just gravy. She didn't care about Queen Elizabeth, Philip, none of that. Meghan was concerned about her agenda and was she on track because it was time to go. And what behooves me, that's what my sister, what behooves me, it's this gentleman that says that a lot, that's his trademark, is the fact, I forgot, since I said all that, I forgot. I can't believe she married into a family, gave back the titles, ran over here to Montecito to be with her celebrity family, making sure that that relationship between Harry and his family stays broken. I didn't know she was able to do that because their bond was so strong. And Harry, for your bond to be so strong with your family to the point where your wife comes in and destroys that bond, that's something. And this wedding that you're not invited to, they took you off the guest list because of your wife. You know when things go bad when people don't invite you because your wife is the problem. No, we ain't inviting Harry and Meghan because of her. That's a shame that you can't even be invited to most events because your wife has a reputation of being a bitch. What is it? She's nice and kind and loving. She cares. She cares about people's mental health. This girl. Okay.
I don't think he's got enough parliamentary time to get this through. And I don't know if he's consulted with the palace or not, but I assume that even if he did get this through Parliament in some sort of private members' bill using this obscure law, it would have to be signed off by the King.
And who's to say that he wouldn't sign off on it? Get it in front of his face. Let people know that you're serious. If nothing else, scare her. Let her know, look, your titles is on the block. And I think that's what he did, to let us know that he's going to do something instead of sit back and let someone call you racist 24 hours a day. Racist, racist, racist. Huh? And then you got her cronies out there making excuses about the racism. It's a trip. These women and then Piers Morgan will ask them a question and they'll start talking about something other than the question. Why is it so hard for you guys to answer the question that Piers Morgan, why is Meghan doing, why is this going on or whatever? See, Piers, it has something to do with colonialism. Get here. Here is the question. Answer the question. Stop going off into some other deflect and answer the question. You can't answer it because Meghan is doing exactly what Piers Morgan is saying, blackmailing the family. That was a blackmail tactic. Meghan has been blackmailing the royal family since she stepped in. That's blackmail. What else is it? Grifter. Grift. Manipulate con artist.
The King would want to do this.
Well, he wouldn't go against precedent, Phil. You can't. The King can't just pick and choose on what he's got to give royal assent to. Surely
he can't. If someone is a traitor, which Harry is, and portraying every sign of that, the King is going to have to act. Oh, this is getting really serious, guys. This is some serious, real deal conversation. Gotta go.
Well, ultimately, I think he probably can. Actually, I mean, it has been signed off by the King. I don't think this is going to get through. I think it's grandstanding by Bob Seeley, although a lot of people will agree with it.
Okay, right now, look, there's a couple of other royal things I want to get stuck into. So, we're going to the activist and granddaughter of Nelson Mandela, who's waded into the row with this message.
I believe Harry and Meghan had to find their own voice, in a similar way that Granddad had to find his own voice when he had to run away from an arranged marriage. So they should be given, like any other person, room to voice out whatever their misgivings are.
Ladies.
Just that stupid stuff. It is not okay for Meghan to get on TV in every outlet to talk down about a family that was not what she says it is. It is disrespectful and it's wrong. And what grievances? Take it to the therapist. If you have a problem with someone wanting to know what your baby's going to look like when it comes out, then go tell it to a therapist, because none of us care. Everybody wants to know what the baby looks like. What grievances? She wasn't even over there long enough to have any. She was over there for a year and 15 days. And so all of a sudden she had all of this going on. No, I call foul on what she's just said. I don't agree with her, what she said and all of that. They have already spoken about their non-grievances. Oprah, the Netflix show, Spare, therapy session, and we need to hear it again. The same things over and over again, as if it's going to change the narrative. You've been over here for 3 years. Why are you still worried about something that happened to you when you was over there for 15 minutes? And then why not just forgive them if they were that horrible to you? Forgive them so you can move on and be free of it and stop holding on to whatever you think that they did to you. Because the only thing that I see that they gave to you accidentally made you a senior royal and invited you into the fold, a traitor. And is merching off of us. I would be pissed off. That is what we have here. That is what we see. And if it's that bad, shut up about it and move on, because none of us wants to hear it anymore. I'm not getting the book. I'm not deep diving that sucker. It's going straight to the Smithsonian. I'm getting what I'm getting out of the highlights of this. This is the book. And all that stuff about William and Catherine and all that stuff, that happened 2 weeks ago. We are moving on. Guess where we at? We are trying to figure out why she is attacking them on such a stupidity level. And it is time to act. Because if you don't, she will continue to do it. And she's doing it for a publicity stunt, so everybody can look at her and say, poor me. Are you okay, Meghan? It was Catherine that treated you wrong. Because that's what happened on the Fox Soul with Claudia. You know, poor Meghan. No, Meghan became an instant millionaire, or she probably was at the beginning, but she was like a 1 millionaire. She wasn't like a 30 million, 40 million millionaire. And now she's out here acting really childish. Her behavior is childish and unacceptable. And as a father or a mother, I would be disappointed in my child for acting like that and pretending that I'm racist. I would be very disappointed in Harry for him to call his own father racist. That very one that you, like he said in his speech, you are going to be, and my God, if your father is talking to you like this on a daily basis, how did you let this Jezebel come in here and change your mind? Your father said, you are going to be judged by what you didn't do, Harry. And then what you didn't do to stop it, and how you sit back and watch your woman try to destroy your entire family. Making up stuff about racism because it's so controversy. It's hard to prove and it's hard to disprove, but not necessarily, because if a Black African woman is telling you that it was not racist and no one was concerned, and Meghan put that spin on there and then decided to call the two out in a book that they accidentally got out. No, nothing is coincidence when it happens to Meghan. And Meghan wanted this to happen, because if she didn't, then where the hell is she? We couldn't keep her out of the streets. She was at every parking lot, every charity event, every concert there was, every movement she made, she was out there. Now she in. as my daughter would call it, in. She's in. Mommy, in. Yeah, she's in, Kira. She is in the house, hiding under a brick, knowing that she has started some controversy and loving it all at the same time. She loves it. She loves Piers Morgan is talking about her. She don't like what he's saying. She loves that Teresa's on there defending her. She's excited that she got Piers Morgan fired from his job. He can't get fired no more.
Is Indileka Mandela right? Do the couple need space to find their voice?
No. If they need a place to go and find their voice and to speak out, quit telling us, because we don't care. She wasn't over there long enough to have somewhere to speak. And if she needs to speak, tell her to find her mother and Obie Scobie and tell it to Harry. But quit telling us, because all we see is something different. I don't see it. I don't see the racism. I call foul. She is lying. It was not a racist statement. It was not a racist situation. Meghan did not experience racism, and she is not sensitive. She is using this for her own personal gain, her own personal reasons. Number one, keep the division between Harry and his family. That's number one. She does not want them to reunite. And number two, patting her on the back and checking on her because she's the victim. And number three, she's just has to have it because she is just has to be in the news. If she's not in the news, she's going to lose it. She's coming with something else, because soon this will die down in the United States like it already is, because don't nobody care. Who cares is mostly the UK. That's why they're checking her titles. But over here, her a moment to shine is fading as we speak. And no one's going to care anymore, because there's nothing new about the story, only that she wanted to name two people. I told you from the get-go that whoever she names, it doesn't matter, because they're all guilty, because they're one. We're not different. William is not different from Catherine. Catherine's not different from King Charles. They all are a family. You attack one of us, you attack us all. And I don't know why Harry ain't seeing the situation like this. Well, if you attack me, Meghan, you're attacking my family. But no, he got on board to help her attack his. No, it ain't just Catherine and King Charles. Let's start here. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Catherine, William, and the kids, Anne, Sophie, all of them. The whole Beatrice, Eugenie, all of them are in that bracket. You can't separate yourself from that. When Meghan calls you guys racist, she's talking about all of you. So when y'all out there trying to find a spot for her to sit when she comes and visit, that's just the truth. No. And the only reason why she's not using Eugenie and them, because she's trying to separate them. They were nice to her. They were there for her. No, they all were.
Like Nelson Mandela.
Say it.
Well, I'm afraid that President Mandela's granddaughter has totally missed the point. He was advocating for a cause with justice and against apartheid. Harry and Meghan are advocating for a cause of greed, injustice against the royal family, against the British nation. There is absolutely no doubt that they have fabricated an awful lot of this nonsense for their own financial and reputational gain. And it is mischief making of the highest order. And I do wish that people like Nelson Mandela's granddaughter would bear in mind that just because Meghan wants to play the race card doesn't mean that people of a similar background.
Thank you. It doesn't mean that since she brought up the race card that we have to run to her defense and say it was racist. No, we need to tell the truth. We know the difference between racist and not. George Floyd was treated, that was racism in my mind, part of it. saying his life matter. Get your knee off his neck, period. Get him off the ground. He is not a threat. Meghan is using this word very loosely and just any kind of way that she wants to use it. And it's not fair. That's not fair to be able to just use it. Oh yeah, it is. It's racist. They asked about the color of the skin. Unconscious bias. Internal and all this other pathetic BS. No. Like Stephanie said the other day, my deep dive, she said, if you keep trying to water down racism, then that's where it will be. And you can't put these little nuances on racism. It is and it is and it isn't. And this is not it. And don't give me that unconscious BS as if any of us is supposed to know what the hell they're talking about. Racism is just racism. I don't want to get into that because I did a whole deep dive on it. Let's see. Let's keep going.
Be supporting her. The problem with that attitude is that's why Mugabe and Zuma were able to enjoy abuse.
This is what I wanted to say. You know, like Iman and that other gentleman was talking about when you see white people, you see white supremacy. And then Iman's talking about introvert and covert racism and stuff. And it doesn't apply to this. And when you try to water it down and do that, then it become really everything. Come on. That's all. No, call it what it is. I mean, you even left. You said you didn't even believe anything Carrie Dunn was saying right after Harry came out and said that it wasn't racism. After you push for them, then you get on the show and start talking about your racism book. And that wasn't the question. The question is these two. Just watch the video. Please watch them all. I know I've been catch up
before the length of time that they did. I mean, her hypothesis is totally untenable.
All right, now, look, I just want to just very quickly, Phil, get your view on this, because the King and Queen, Prince and Princess of Wales, they're on the invitation list to a wedding of Prince Harry's best pal, Hugh Grosvenor. I believe he's also the godfather, I should say, yes, of Archie. But Harry and Meghan aren't invited.
So, obviously, one of you told me, a couple of you told me, that Meghan was upset that Archie's, it wasn't Archie's grandfather. So then they added him as her grandfather. So what is Tyler Perry? Let's move on.
What's going on here? Is this a snub to Harry and Meghan? What's all this about, Phil?
Was it a snub?
Yeah, it's a great story actually broke over the weekend in a couple of the papers.
Yeah, it was a snub. Your wife's a problem. That's the snub. Harry, you can't come out and play with us because you got something and you got some issues with your love life, your social life. You got someone, first of all, that might not even let you come out and play. And then number two, when you do come out, you got to bring her, and nobody wants you to bring her. And then I pick any incident. Now, this one you can't come to because your brother is more important than you. No, that's not it. Your brother is not calling you racist. And so I think you need to keep your dramatization over there. Keep your racist wife and her opinions and all of that, because she might come over here and say we did something to her, and there I'm gonna have to sue her. So leave Meghan over there. She can't come. She is blackmailing. She is using the royal family in a way that is very despicable. That's what I see. No, you can't come to the party. Now she's not invited to the event of the year. This would have been the moment you needed to be there. You would have been surrounded by billionaires and millionaires and all these wonderful people that you would have been able to met and mingle with. No, you were too busy trying to run back here and hang out with Oprah and her friends. But what Oprah didn't tell you is that you got to maintain the talent while you over here. And the D-list ain't doing it. You're going to produce a movie? Who's going to watch it? The racist people? Who's going to... I know that'll make no sense. But who's going to watch it? I'm not.
As the Duke of Westminster is one of Britain's richest men, he's decided not to invite, according to reports, Harry and Meghan to his wedding next June. They're saying online tonight that it might be because it brings back memories of his sister when she got married in 2004. And it was very embarrassing for all concerned because Charles wasn't really allowed to take Camilla because the Queen and Prince Philip were going. And so he doesn't want to repeat of that. And it's very embarrassing for him because he's one of the few people who's stayed in contact with Harry and Meghan and with William and Kate. But he's obviously decided that it's going to turn his wedding into a circus. So they are out.
Yeah, it's going to turn into a circus because Montecito is a circus. It's a circus. It's a daily circus. It's the Daily Show. It's the Meghan Daily Show. Listen, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful evening. I hope you enjoy my video. Tell me your thoughts about her titles being taken. Sounds like it's going to take a moment, but I think the mere fact of them initiating it is, I love it. It puts her on notice. And it just puts her on, listen, you and your games that you play will eventually become a bad thing for you. Why would she deliberately treat her in-laws this way? She wasn't even in the room when it was said. So how could she be physically, emotionally, and mentally affected by something she wasn't even in the room to hear? And no. Was not in the room to hear. And then when you do get the information, it's muddled. Listen to this. And then she talks about how she talks to King Charles about the situation after the Oprah show. That's how I know that she's playing games with these names and playing games. And it's time to separate her from the real royals. It is time. She's not going to stop using the Duchess of Sussex, even when they take it. But they do need to remove her from the website and remove her from any association with them. I'd be like, look, listen, hey, you have done the worst for our family. You bring no contribution. You're calling us racist. We tried to work it out in private and tried to explain to you that it wasn't that. And you're still running around here defaming us. And we have a job to do. And you're affecting that job. And so since you're affecting our job, it's time for us to act. And he can explain and apologize to his son that he has to do this. He can. Listen, maybe your brother bestole him back on you one day. But for right now, you cannot be the traitor within and keep calling us racist and affecting our ability to perform our jobs that we get up and early in the morning to do daily. Catherine did not want to walk into somewhere, someone's yelling in her ear about something Meghan has done over here. And she's out on a royal engagement, working for the people. That's what I don't understand, is that, like Lady C said, you have to understand it all before you can pass judgment of someone just getting their information out or someone just being able to be heard. Because she's already had her platform of a moment to tell us her story over and over and over again. And now she's telling it again for what? To be back in the news like she was before. Breaking news. I know TMZ is feeling it. And if they don't, they're probably is mustering up. Breaking news. Meghan names the royal racist. It ain't breaking news over here, unfortunately. And I don't even think they mention it on MSNBC or CNN. I don't watch them that much. But what I'm saying is I don't think they mentioned it. In other words, she's not being talked about like she really wants to. Like, she wants that moment. She wants that when they were first engaged and everybody knew she was getting married. She wants that moment again. You'll never have that moment again. You could have had it over and over and over and over again, because that's what you were having when you were over there going on those rural events. People were out in the street for you. They weren't out there for Catherine. They were in the street for you. They were lining up to see you. And look how you treated it. And now no one's lining up for you. And you have no one to blame but yourself. And I would be more worried about that than I would about someone saying something said something to someone that said this and that about some brown skin, about some stupid stuff. Stupid. Because didn't she get the titles? Are we clear why she can't get the security? It's not because of the color of her kid's skin. That's that stupid stuff. But the kicker is Harry let it roll off her lips to say it. Listen, guys, I am getting fat. I am eating. Food is good. Kisses. I hope that you have a wonderful night. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. I do want to interact with you a little bit more, just not by through here, but also through the live sessions that we're going to do. I am expecting a phone call this week. I don't know when. I'm going to try to schedule it, but I'm excited to talk to one of you. So I'm really excited about that. Listen, have a wonderful evening. I shouldn't be back on tonight. Hopefully nothing else happens. And I say that this is such a big story. This is such a big deal. You guys have not seen me on here this much like this. Normally I was not taking a break, but just, coming like once every 2 or 3 days, but this is hot. This is hot off the press, and it ain't going nowhere because I think she has cried woof for the last time.